wonderful to be here. And it's the 4th of July and 2021. It's a complicated date in general, all the more so for 2021. So complicated that aside from what I knew I wanted to say, the universe told me that there are a couple of things I needed to add and would not let me move forward without doing so. So today, I definitely want to say that the 4th of July is a brilliant day because it happens every year. It's easy to be reminded of it. To declare yourself free, to declare your own personal independence. For my family and for a lot of people, the 4th of July isn't just a day of celebrating the independence of the country. It just doesn't go that way. For example, when the 4th of July first occurred, there were so many people who were not included in the independence and the freedom. Native people, they didn't even get to vote in America until after World War II. Women, of course, we know. But a lot of people don't even realize that if you were not a landowner, you couldn't vote in America for many, many years. When America first became free, it did not include voting for non-landowners, even if they were white males. And of course, if you were a person of color, if you were an African person, it definitely did not include you. And it's interesting because it's a reminder of what the 4th of July has meant and what the 4th of July can mean. And what's interesting, I think I should tell you, is that just as an example of how it's been different for different people, my family includes a lot of different lineages. And as African people, a part of my family being from America, the 4th of July, when I was a kid, was when we got together and we watched an actor portray Frederick Douglass and give the speech, What to the Slave is the 4th of July. So that is part of what our 4th of July commemoration involved. And I say that this year, especially because just last month, Pride Month, when people are more free now than they used to be, Pride no longer is a protest. It's become more of a celebration. But more than that, this past month, Juneteenth, when African people in America finally got fully free, supposedly, that has become a national holiday. And the thing about it is we can all have different meanings for the 4th of July, whether you're an immigrant or a woman or LGBTQIA+, it's had different significances and it's come into mean a celebration at different times, at different points. I don't know if you know, but the people of Standing Rock, where there were the water protests, those people did not get the right to vote based upon their address on tribal land until last year. 2020. It's kind of amazing. And it's as Frederick Douglass pointed out in his speech, back then it was a young country. It's still a fairly young country. It's not millennium old as some countries are. So there's room for growth. And it reminds me that we are a young species. We are a young species on this planet. And there's room for our growth too. So I cannot help but have compassion. And I cannot help for those who came before us and for what we have before us, especially in a year when people are concerned about the right to vote again. It's crazy. But I cannot help but have compassion for where we were, for where we've been, and for what we've done to get here, and for then what is possible. And so no matter what, this is a perfect time, because it means so many different things to so many different people, to have it mean something different for you and for me. And for me, I decided that the 4th of July would be a day that I every year remember to declare my own personal independence, to acknowledge what I know, and to act and live from what I know, to be less shy. For example, we here at Celebrate Life, we get to have some deep conversations about what we understand about the nature of reality, the nature of our spiritual selves. Here, we talk about the fact that it is the change called death, because we know, well, a lot of us really know that it is not a dying the way people used to think of it. And so I am saying that in declaring ourselves free, declaring ourselves independent in a new way, live that truth. You don't think that we really die? Live like you don't think we really die. You understand yourself to be psychic, to be sensitive. Don't be so shy about it. Live that truth. Use what's true for you. Exercise that. I like to think about the fact that with all that's going on, there's a shift that some people believe is coming, a wonderful shift for humanity, a moving forward, a moving upward, an evolutionary next step that includes us being our psychic, intuitive selves, that includes us acknowledging that we are one with the universe, part of the universe. Oh my goodness, there are people who still think that this one planet Earth is the only planet in all of the cosmos, with more stars, more suns, and there are grains of sand on the beach, that we could somehow be here by ourselves. So, all right, I'm saying it. We're not here alone in this universe. That would be a terrible waste of real estate if we were, a terrible waste of all this beauty if we were. So I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge that I'm clear we're not alone, and that we ourselves live out in outer space, and that we are part of a family that's larger because it's all one universe and we are one with it. In fact, I'm acknowledging that we are one with every aspect of the universe, that as my ancestors were animists, I'm an animist, and I see and experience life in all things and consciousness in all things. I'm gratified that as a deep nerd that science is also saying the same thing. So I'm acknowledging the brilliance of my ancestors. And I'm also thinking about the people who've had near-death experiences. And the reason I'm thinking about them is because so many of them have come back from that experience. And they have said, if you knew how loved you are, you would run out and live life fully. I say live life fully. I say it's time. I say declare yourself free to live your life fully. Embrace all of who you are. Most people are aware that they don't know everything. Well, how could we? But they, as one wise man said to me, they let perfection spoil the possibility of the good that they can do, that they can experience. Well, let yourself acknowledge that you don't know everything. You can always go explore stuff. You can look stuff up. You can decide there's stuff you don't even want to bother knowing. It's just not important to you. But the things that you do know, the 4th of July is a good day to take a moment between iced tea, barbecue, hanging out with family, wading pools, and fireworks, to acknowledge the things that you are sure of, that during your life you have become clear are true, especially the best things. And in that regard, let that carry you to living not only fully, but going ahead and being your truest best self while you're here. Those people who've had near-death experiences, they have come back and said, that this place is more illusion than we think, that this is like a field trip for kids, and that we're here and it's a wonderful experience, but it is just a very small part of all of who we are and all of our eternal selves. This is just one iteration of our experiences. And so not only live that, live fully, but live fully knowing that this is just part of your fun. This is just part of your experience. And since this may indeed, according to people who have been there and back, because this may indeed just be a picnic, what is there to wait on? What is there to hold out on for yourself? Have life abundantly. And in regard to the fact that there is a shift that is coming, I certainly feel it. I look forward to it, where we live more lives where we acknowledge our psychic abilities, we acknowledge our oneness with each other, with the universe itself, and with others in the universe, with all of life on our planet, and therefore have compassion for it and care for it. There is this concept that if we do indeed want to make a difference, and I'm thinking about how people are worried about all the things we've been through in the last few years and the things we're hoping to make safe and make good for those who come and for ourselves, that is a part of you being your truest best self. And if you feel called to do that, do it, run with it. There are some who say, you don't have to do anything to make the world better, just be your truest best self. You'll have inspired ideas of what you do, to things to which you'd like to contribute, things that move you or inspire you. And just by being yourself, you'll find your way to those things, and the contribution you make from that will make the world better. In fact, you being your truest best self, I declare unto you, is its own brilliant contribution to the world, to the universe, to our combined consciousness, to our children. It honors our ancestors. It honors all that is. And the really cool thing about that is, if it's fun for you to make a difference, do it. If you don't feel like making a difference and you're just being your truest best self, again, that will be plenty. But I think that it's good to remind you that even if you do want to make a difference for the world, remember, please, to have compassion, not only for the world, but for your own dear self. So let that be part of you embracing all of who you are. Let that be part of you declaring yourself free from the negative voices that we all have. Declaring yourself free from some of the doubts we carry that we just simply carry because we're used to carrying them. This is a good time of year, because it happens every year, to make part of what the 4th of July means. Let it be the year that you peel another layer off of the onion of your life. So what doubts can I get rid of? What unkind self-talk can I shed? Can I call BS on? And I'll give you some fuel for that, by the way, because it's not an outrageous thing to do. Science has said that most people find it easier to believe negative things about themselves than positive things about themselves. So go ahead and believe even 10% more positively about yourself. That's not too outrageous. And every 4th of July, go ahead and see what you're still being less than kind to yourself about. Go ahead and see what else you can do that is something that you've always wanted to do, that you've put off, and see what you can add into your life that is truly you, that gives you that joy, that gives you that feeling of, well, this might be part of what I'm here for. And I tell you truly, I love the fact that people who've had near-death experiences come back with these messages for us, because I want to repeat this to you. One of the most common things they say is that if we knew how loved we are by infinite intelligence, by the spirit of love, by all that is, if we understood how we are an intrinsic part of the fabric of the universe, and us being ourselves adds to that fabric, adds to its interestingness and its joyful complexity, we would run out and we would live boldly and truly. And so I say that that is part of what this day is for, that while it meant different things to our ancestors, while it still means different things to us and to our society, and while it still means that there are things that we might want to shift and change, one of the things in your space, in your mirror, in your conversation with yourself and the universe, that it can include is you declaring yourself free and independent. And to sum this up, I invite you to let the fireworks celebrate you. Now, when you see fireworks on the 4th of July, let them be a celebration of you being truly you in this one and only life, this specific one and only life. Let those fireworks remind you of the joy, of the wonder of being you. And as you do that, as you think of your part in the universe, your beautiful self, and the things inside you that arise when you think of you being your truest best self, when you listen to that, in essence, you are listening to the universe. And when you are true to you and to even the possibility of your truest best self, expect expansion. This is your power up. Expect expansion. When you live in your joyful, truest self, expect expansion and enjoy what you are, all of it, from the intuitive to the psychic to the compassionate to the thoughtful to the explorative. You know, the one thing I'd meant to say, because it seemed like my ancestors were shouting at me, was that when Frederick Douglass gave his speech in 1852, my grandmother's great-grandmother was alive and she was enslaved. And her daughter, my grandmother's grandmother, she was born enslaved. And my grandmother's mother, I knew that woman, and her mother was born enslaved. And we have come far and we can go further. And it is a reminder that this is not ancient history, because we are that young a people as we are that young a country. And we are that young a species, and we are just coming to understand ourselves and understand ourselves as part of the universe. So you go ahead and run with you being truly you. For me, I'm reminded that it fulfills my ancestors. For me, I'm reminded to tell you to celebrate on this day and have it have meaning the way you want it to have meaning. And I say, let part of that meaning be you declaring yourself fully you, fully independent, and fully free. Thank you.